Hello and welcome back to the Grapple Theory podcast. Thanks so much once again for joining us today. Now, our very special guest today is a wrestler who's really rising up the ranks of Brit Rest at the moment. She's had an absolutely phenomenal year, ever since coming back from lockdown and everything like that. She's really been doing well, getting some really big matches, debuting for new promotions. It's been a really fantastic time for her. We're going to be talking to her about all of that, about her two sort of like hometown promotions over in Liverpool, TNT Extreme and Wrestle Island. You may know who I'm talking about already. It is the 9 stone of Scouse power, Harley Hudson. We're going to be talking to her about Liverpool, about her wrestling, about loads more. So stay tuned. It's an absolutely fantastic interview. So without further ado, here is Harley Hudson. Harley, thanks so much for coming on the Grapple Theory podcast today. First of all, talk to me about your comeback from injury, because that was quite recent. Are you all right now? Is that all healed?
Yeah, I'm good. I think I healed quite well and quite quickly, because obviously with me shoot job and stuff, I sort of had to just keep going, otherwise I would have been skint. But I just sort of kept going, and then it's healed quite well. I've been quite lucky because I was sort of, in terms of in the gym and stuff, I probably was pushing it a little bit early, but I sort of had to just keep going. But I've healed quite well, so that's good. I'm happy about that.
I was going to say, with your shoot job, is that tricky to sort of maybe at times not over push yourself and try and get back too quick and take that time you need to get back?
Well, I was because I teach classes as well, and obviously it's hard to find cover for classes and stuff at the minute. So I was teaching classes with crutches on and everything. It was just a whole thing. But I just got to keep going. And it's more mentally as well. I love being in a routine, so I was no, just I think I was home for 2 days, and first day I was oh yeah, I feel dead positive, you know what I mean? And the second day I was get me out this house. I didn't even know how I did lockdown, because I was only in the house for 2 days. I was cracking up, I had to get out, but yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? It happens, obviously, but
yeah. Well, you're more that sort of person then, because I quite enjoyed the lockdown in the sense that I'm not a huge fan of going out a lot, so I quite enjoyed it. But you're a bit the opposite.
The first lockdown was obviously bad in terms of COVID, but I thought it was pretty cool, the first one, because it was in the garden getting a tan, eating all day and stuff. But the second one was just horrible. I hated that one, because we still had to work, because I had a different job at that point, so we still had to work and stuff, but then obviously couldn't wrestle at all and everything. But yeah, it's more I'm not the biggest sort of going out whatever, but it's just more my routine and sticking to stuff that I like doing. It's just one of them, isn't it?
No, sure. Well, that's cool. And talk to me then about sort of coming back from that injury. You feel all right in the ring, and everything's all good in that respect. There's no sort of little niggles there or anything.
No, yeah. So at first I was obviously when I got hurt, I was I'm not going back till I feel mentally ready and not nervous, because I think being nervous about it and second guessing yourself and that just makes everything worse. I think I'd be more likely to hurt myself then. But so my first training session back, I was a bit oh god, some stuff, but then when I went back again, that sort of went away, and now I forget about it when I'm wrestling. I'll literally go out, do the match, and then I'll be take my boots off, and I'll be my foot's taped up. I'm oh my god, my foot. So that's a good thing. But I don't know whether it's good or bad. I probably need to be a bit more mindful, but touch wood, I've been all right.
I'd say it's probably a little of both, isn't it? It's probably a little of both.
Yeah.
But it's good to hear you're all right. And let's talk. Injury aside, post lockdown coming back, it seems like you've just been really, really thriving in the ring, really climbing that ladder, and you looks like you're getting a lot more attention now, which is great to see.
I think I needed the lockdown a little bit of time off, because I've been wrestling since I was 13, so that's been all my teenage years I've spent wrestling. So when was lockdown? So I was about 17 when we were in lockdown. So that's 4 years of going solid with the wrestling, and I think that's a lot, because going through school wrestling and stuff, every weekend, my weekends would just be wrestling, training and stuff, and that does although I've still got my close friends from school, that does sort of alienate you a bit from what everyone was doing, and I'd sort of just stick to my own sort of thing. So I think it was good to have a bit of time of not doing that, to think, right, what do you want to do, what's going on, which was obviously at its bad point and its good point, because when you do slow down and you stop doing things that keep you busy, you do realise, like, oh, like, what's me like? But then I worked through all that, and I'm much better for it now. I'm much more confident. So I think that time off has really done me good to, like, just think about what's going on in that, and, like, think about what I want to do and, like, what I need to do to get to that point. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, sure, I get
Obviously, good and bad points with it, but...
Yeah, no, for sure. We've talked to people about that, about how the lockdown, you know, while COVID has been bad for so many reasons, in terms of just pure wrestling, it looks like, you know, it's taken a few wrestlers away because they've signed for other places or gone to other countries, and that sort of opened up this gap that the likes of, like, you know, up and comers like yourself and Chantel Jordan and Lucia Lee and other people like, you know, Luke Jacobs, Warren Banks, those people who may have been lower down the card before are really getting those pushes now.
Definitely, and I think, like, a lot is to do with social media as well. Like, obviously, like, being on Twitter, things like that, Instagram, through the lockdown, like, it got people a lot more interaction and things like that we might not have had before. So I think that's been a good part of it, because probably everybody was just on the phones, like, always scrolling. So, like, you do get more interaction and stuff, and that does help with, like, getting yourself out there and, like, networking and stuff. So.
Yeah, and there's a few sort of you know, specific, I guess, promotions to do with yourself that I want to chat about. The first is Wrestle Island, because from the time we're recording this is probably going to go out a couple of weeks after, so probably like early to mid-May. So that's obviously leading up to their next show. And obviously you're getting a great push there. Obviously this thing you've got going with Alexis Falcon, which is fantastic. I mean, talk to me first of all, just as a whole, about Wrestle Island and about how you feel there, and about sort of, like, you know, not necessarily how they treat you, but you know what I mean, like the atmosphere there and the vibe and what they mean to you.
I think Wrestle Island for me was, like, one of the first promotions I looked at and thought, I want to get to. Like, obviously you look at, like, TNT and Future Chef and things like that, but, like, I went to the first Wrestle Island show to watch, and I don't know if it was the first one or the second one, but one of them was on Mother's Day, and I remember dragging my mum to watch this show. And since then I just thought, like, that's what I want to be doing, that's where I want to be. And, like, it took me a long time of, like, sort of getting there, but obviously because I am younger, he was like, no, like, you look like a kid, you're not, you know, which I understand. And I'm so glad that, like, when I did get to be on the shows, I don't even know what I'm saying, but when I was on them, that was a good time for me to be on them. I felt like I was 100% ready, like, I was just, like, sort of ready to go, and I've had, like, a really good response from, like, the crowds and stuff, so I'm made up with that. But it's just one of them, it's like these sorts of promotions that I've been able to, like, get on since lockdown. It's like, oh my god, they're places I've wanted to wrestle for so long. And, like, especially Wrestle Island, like, the crowds that they get are just amazing. Like, such busy shows, such, like, good interaction from the crowds, and especially getting to, like, have this feud going with Alexis has been really good as well. Because I've wrestled her before, but I've not wrestled her for about 3 years. 3 coming on to 4 years, probably, like, that's a long time. But so, like, we're probably 2 completely different wrestlers than when we last had a match. I'll be really interested to see how that goes.
I was going to say, because like you say, it's been a while since you faced her, and I was going to say you've both sort of come on leaps and bounds since then, and Alexis is like right at the top of her game at the minute. Obviously Wrestle Island champ, TNT champ as well. Like, she's doing phenomenally. And is it nice to have that as well in sort of like a longer program where you can, like, really flesh out a story?
Yeah, definitely, and just having the chance to, like, to be in sort of a feud and a storyline, because often places like companies that don't sort of push women as much, like, some places you will just be like, women's match, fine, 2 girls, you're on the show, do you know what I mean? Like, you don't always get, like, a story or a chance to, like, do something with it, like, online as well, like, so it's been good to have that, like, sort of opportunity, and, like, just gotta prove it now, just gotta do your best you can with it, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that match though.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Really looking forward to that one as well here. And again, like, you sort of picked up on it there, but, you know, we won't mention any sort of specific promotions or names, but, you know, you talk about sort of like companies that will only give sort of like 1 women's match on the card, and it's just 2 women and there's no story behind it. As someone who, again, like yourself, is younger and sort of started wrestling younger as well, and had this sort of long break with lockdown, Do you feel like the women's scene has sort of come on and gotten stronger since coming back, and maybe the women are being treated and booked a little bit better now?
100%, definitely. There's obviously like still ways to go with it, but in terms, like, I'm happy with like the progress that's been made from it. Like, when you like go online now after shows, like, people are tweeting about the women's matches mainly, like, not to palm off the fellas or not, but you do see like people interacting loads more with like women's matches and stuff like that. So that's really nice to see. And especially places that have more than one women's match, like, it makes it so much easier for like women to get on shows, because often, like, even though there is obviously less women than men wrestling, it can be hard to like get spots, because if there's already, say, 2 women on the show, it's like, are you going to be able to get on that show? It's unlikely, do you know what I mean? So it opens up more spaces for like women to get work and stuff, so that's good.
Yeah, for sure. No, well said. And we couldn't have you on here, the 9 stone of Scouse power, without talking about TNT as well. I mean, TNT as a promotion for you, I imagine, probably holds a special place in your heart as well, being from Liverpool, with that company really thriving as well at the minute. They're just, again, going on leaps and bounds since lockdown as well. I think they used to be sort of like Brit Wrestling's best kept secret, and now it seems like that secret is out of the bag and they're really pushing.
Yeah. That's just another one of like the surreal moments, especially with like their setup. Like, you just feel like, when you get in the ring on one of them shows, it's just mad, like such a mad feeling. And it's just, I can't believe it sometimes, to be honest with you, when like I see like the highlights on like doing the Instagram stories and I watch them, like, well, that's me. TNT, that's mad. But just such a good atmosphere at the shows. Like, I just love like what they're doing, especially with like Sarah and Fury, which is next week. Like, how stacked that show is. Oh my god. But I think that'll just be a boss atmosphere to be like backstage with all of them like amazing talents as well. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say, because this goes out after Siren's Fury, unfortunately, but again, to have that show, to see all those women on that card, and for it to, and like you said, be just so stacked, like, that shows that the depth of talent that is in this Brit Rest women's division at the moment.
Exactly. It's just like everyone on that card I'd love to wrestle. Do you know what I mean? And that doesn't happen all the time, but it's just like, wow, it'll be amazing. So obviously, if this is going on this afternoon, you're welcome. It'll be a good show. Everyone's going to watch that.
Absolutely.
But even Simon's Fury last year was brilliant. Do you know what I mean? It was just a good show, just a cool show to have and to be able to like be a part of again. So.
Yeah, no, totally, and hopefully, again, once this goes out, hopefully that would have been a great show. Everyone should go and watch it who's watching this now, if they haven't already. And again, you sort of picked up on it there, but in terms of that depth of talent and in terms of people coming on and people you'd like to face, I mean, normally I say this sort of to a bit further at the end, but in terms of your ambitions for the rest of the year, are there any sort of promotions in mind you'd like to wrestle at, or people specifically you'd like to face?
I feel like I say this all the time, but everyone and anywhere, do you know what I mean? Like, I'd love to wrestle for Rev Pro. I'm seeing more stuff like online of them as well, and I'm just like, I'd love to wrestle for Progress as well, obviously, but I feel like everybody would say that. And like at the minute, like with the amount of women, like everyone's killing it, everyone's doing really well, so. Yeah, literally everyone. That's a boring answer, but it is literally everyone. Like, I think getting to work with as many different people as possible is always the best thing for you. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to it, and I think I'm getting to wrestle with more different people now, because like for the first sort of couple of years of like me wrestling, because I was younger, like I'd be wrestling a lot of the same people, which does sort of just keep you not in a box per se, but when you get to like work with lots of different people, like. It just builds you as a performer yourself anyway, so
yeah,
definitely looking forward to that.
No, for sure. I was going to say, do you see that as sort of like it can be sort of like quite a confidence boost in terms of the fact there's so many people that you want to face and sort of such a level to get up to, like for yourself, the fact that you can keep rising and you've got those sort of ambitions?
Yeah, like it's just from sort of where I started to where I am now, like I just think I'm like a completely different person. So I used to be quite shy and like nervous, which I'm not really at all. So it's just weird to see like that sort of transition and like to think like to be able to go to shows and just feel like 100% like happy and confident and just like, yeah, let's do it. Whereas like me, when I first started, I'd be like, if I had a show, like flapping it, worrying about it. But now it's just like, you've got to have fun while you're doing it. Like, I'm getting to sort of like live out my dreams. Like, people don't get to do that. Like, people have aspirations and don't get to do it. And I'm like 19 and it's one of my jobs. But that's a really good thing. So I think everyone just sometimes needs to sit back and be like, this is cool what we're doing, do you know what I mean? And like still be like a fan and be like, yeah, this is boss.
For sure. I think that's the thing, isn't it? To enjoy those moments as well, like as a fan, even while you're in the ring, to be like, yeah, this is cool. Like,
yeah, definitely. And even like watching the rest of the show, I'll be like, this is boss. Like, yeah, go on.
Awesome. Well, the other thing I want to talk about is obviously can't have you on the show without talking about your signature look, because it's fantastic. Going on to that, I think the first thing that I wanted to chat about was the shoot you did recently with James Musselwhite. Fantastic photographer. Shout out to him. Incredible work.
Amazing.
Talk to me about that, because like that, the whole sort of like Barbie aesthetic out of it and all that. It was just, I think it's probably one of the coolest promo shoots I've seen in a long time.
Thank you so much.
How did it come about? How did it all come about?
So obviously he was doing his like giveaways for shoots and stuff, and I'd sort of done like the first time he'd done it, I'd got into it. Obviously I'd done my foot in. I was still gonna go, but like I just thought getting on the tube but on crutches not gonna happen. I'll end up getting wiped out. It was bad enough on bloody 2 working feet, but I was like, we best postpone it till obviously I'm feeling ready and feeling confident, and then we were able to finally do it. But it just exceeded like every expectation that I had. Like I already went into it knowing like this is gonna be cool. But like just the way like he handled himself, the way the whole day was, like just such a professional with it. But when we were sort of talking through ideas, we'd thought about like the Barbie box and that. But I don't know, I just thought that was a really cool thing to do, because obviously like you think Barbie, you think like the stereotypical look. It was good to do it from like a different perspective and sort of be like, you know, I'm different, but I'm still like loving these like feminine things and like going with it, do you know what I mean? And so that felt really good. And just like a positive thing, and getting the pictures back, I was just like, yeah, love these.
I think that's what I love about it, and love about like sort of yourself and loads of other like wrestlers on the scene in the minute, in the fact that I think there can be sort of like, especially I think from maybe people that don't get wrestling, the stigma from outside that like a women's wrestler either has to look super glamorous and feminine, or like they're like super ripped and like hench, and like it can't be an either or. It can't be like an in between, or like be both. It's just really nice to see you sort of like subvert that and sort of like push that message, I guess. Like whether you were trying to push that message or not, that's how it sort of read to me.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with like, it sounds stupid, but automatically when you have short hair and things like that, like even through like school and stuff, you would just get like a certain perception from people, and that's just from people not understanding. So that's something I'd always struggled with, was like, if people assume something about you, it's like, well, should I be dressing more masculine? But then now it's just, and I've really been able to like come into my own and think, no, like, I like what I like, you know, obviously we look not for everyone, but you've got to own it 100%. Like you can't look like me and be bothered about what people say, because otherwise, do you know what I mean? You've got to own it. You've got to like sort of live your best life with it, and that's just sort of what I've been doing, and it's paid off for me so much. Like obviously coming back from lockdown, I just sort of being myself online, and then at shows being myself 100%. I think people get onto that and recognise that more than they recognise someone who's trying to sort of portray a character. Because even though wrestling is characters, I'd say my gimmick is me, just a bit more extra after a couple of monsters, you know what I mean? So I think that's why sort of people have bought into it a little bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is that sort of that line between yourself out the ring and Harley Hudson? Like, what is that sort of like divider there?
I think the way I like sort of want to see it is like, I am being someone that I'd want to see, and like I'm not seeing anybody like me, so I'm gonna be that person. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, like, you don't want to be doing what someone else is already doing, like, and it's it's hard in wrestling because everything's been done pretty much in some sort of way. And it's just about like sort of reinventing what's already been done, but trying to make it as new and as like fresh as possible. I'm going off on a proper tangent here.
No, that's fine. We love the tangents here. We love tangents.
Yeah, but just trying to be like the first me. I know everyone says that as well, but it's actually true. Like, because it can be really easy to like fall into a thing of like mimicking other people and things like that. And like obviously like trends and like what's getting over with people. Like, yeah, but I think I'm fully being the first me, so that's good.
No, that's good to hear. Like you say, it can be like a cliche, but like that's because so many like wrestlers do it, like in terms of not what you're doing, but in terms of they just want to be themselves or like an over-exaggerated version of themselves.
Yeah.
And like, so it might be a cliche, but that doesn't make it any less valid.
Yeah.
And like, I guess sort of it's that look and that shoot as well, I believe, that sort of led to, I know it's a little way off from when this goes out, but October 1st at Sov Pro, with their first show, you're going to have this Dream House death match with Mariah May.
I want that, like, patented that I come up with that name. Yeah, I just think that's great. That got, like, a lot of backlash as well off people. Obviously, all the weapons are pink, whatever, and I'm not a deathmatch wrestler by any means of the words at all, but I just think that's something like that people don't really do. Obviously there's like themes to everything, and like Wrestle Island is doing like a Disney deathmatch, I don't know, but I just think there couldn't have probably been two better people in wrestling now to do it for those two. So it's going to be fun. It's just going to be fun and a good time. And hopefully people enjoy it as much as I think I'm going to enjoy it.
And like you said...
And it's on my birthday as well, so I think it's a good way to spend my birthday.
Yeah. Is it? That's your actual birthday?
All pink death match. Okay, yeah.
That is quite the birthday present, I tell you what.
I know.
That's amazing. And like you say, it's like yourself and Mariah, who are two people that I'd say like post-lockdown in terms of just in Brit Rest generally, I think post-lockdown have really just come so far and had such great years. And like you say, it's two people that like, even like sort of by your own admission, two people that people might not see as like deathmatch wrestlers. But that doesn't mean you can't like have one and have a little like fun gimmick added to it and still make it a good match.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be good. But yeah, some people were a little like pissed at it, but I'm like, come on.
Have you got any sort of message to Mariah ahead of that? I know it's a little while off, but she loves to give like the banter on Twitter, doesn't she?
And because she's great on social media, and then just now, like I've seen like pictures of from matches, she always looks immaculate. The one thing that I cannot do is get a single good picture of me mid wrestling. It doesn't happen because I pull such horrendous faces. I wouldn't have it any other way. But I just can't wait for it to be looking like a real life model, and I look nuts. So I just try and get me good angles for interviews, like posts that I get up on blogs or anything. Like, come on.
Well, I'm sure, she could have a field day with those, couldn't she, as well, especially post match.
Yeah. I'll be having pure memes made about me.
And we can't wait to see those. Memes are always great. I mean, like, the Alexis Falcon ones at the minute are the ones in style, and those are fantastic.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I want to talk to you as well about like your Patreon. This is something I wanted to talk to a few wrestlers about, and I've not got the chance yet. But obviously, I know a lot of wrestlers have like things like Patreon, like OnlyFans, things like that they're getting that bit of extra like income as well, and also giving that like fans that peek behind the curtain as well, and that bit extra stuff.
Yeah.
So talk to me about your Patreon in terms of like, I guess almost like a plug. Like, what is it that you offer on yours, and like why is it important to you in terms of both giving fans that extra sort of like peek behind what you do, but also offering them those opportunities that they might not get as well?
Definitely. So mine is mainly obviously like pictures from shoots. So I don't upload all pictures that, like for example, the shoot on the other day. I don't put all the pictures on Instagram. Some of them go on there as well. I'm trying to push more like gym content with mine. So there's like a couple of different tiers, but I have a tier for coaching as well. So if it's like for anyone who wants fitness tips but isn't sure how to go about it, I think putting it in with sort of the wrestling thing as well is going to be quite marketable to people. Like I've already got a couple of like people in the business on like my fitness plans and stuff, so that's really good to see. But generally just stuff about me, yeah. I just sort of pretty much post whatever I feel like suits. Because obviously people have certain expectations from like those sorts of platforms. Like that's why I chose to do Patreon and not OnlyFans. Just because people have that automatic, they assume what's going to be on there, and obviously I'm like being a bit of a buzzkill, like, no, that's not what it is. It's me in the gym, so slightly more boring. But I do think people like enjoy that sort of content as well, like being able to like see parts of my life that aren't like online for everyone to see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which seems mad because I'm like, I don't know why anyone cares, but like, but there's some people that do care, so that's really nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that like, it must be nice, and is it like surprising, like when you get someone sign up and you're like, oh, they care about like this stuff that I'm doing?
I just think it's crazy. Even when people ask for like, obviously like a picture or even buy like a signed A5, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like that's mad. Like you can just see me down the shops, like as if, but. No, it's surreal. It's great.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. Well, anyone watching, go and sign up to Harley's Patreon because you won't be disappointed. I was going to say, is that the sort of, is there almost that not pressure necessarily, but you know, in terms of, you mentioned like what fans might expect from stuff, but like, is there that pressure then to like once someone's paying for content to be like, oh, like I've got to make this the best it can be?
Definitely, but I just try and like just do my thing, like I try not to put too much like stress on it because I think like they just want to see what I'm doing, so I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and then hopefully they'll be alright. And they can like cancel it. Not that I'm stressed anyone cancels, but like you can get a refund if you're not happy. But hopefully we're not going to have any of that stuff.
No. I'm sure not. No, you're doing fantastic work, and it's really great to see. It really is. And I mean, we sort of mentioned in terms of promotions and people you'd like to face, but you know, in terms of the next few months leading towards the end of the year, you know, if we were having this chat in January, and I'd been like, has it been a successful 2022 for Harley Hudson? What would you say would sort of constitute that? What would be a successful year for you overall?
I think just, like it sounds really cringe, but like just learning and getting better. And like every time I wrestle, I want to be better. Every time I go to training, I want to be just that little bit better. And if I'm not doing that, then obviously we need to reevaluate. I don't want to plateau. I don't want to, you know, I just want to be like a better version of myself. But yeah, like I don't want to put too much pressure on saying, oh, like I want to have done this by January, and if I haven't, then I'm not good enough. It's just a case of if I put the work in, if I do things, because you know what you need to do to get somewhere. If I just keep doing those things, and hopefully it will pay off for me. If it doesn't pay off by a certain amount of time, then I maybe just need to work a little bit harder or go a different direction with it. But just literally, as long as I'm still progressing, I'm still getting myself out there, do you know what I mean? And I think, and like it's clear with like everyone who's doing well at the minute, as long as you just stick at it and just keep doing sort of what you know that you should be doing, then it generally will work out for people.
No, for sure. And we mentioned sort of Liverpool and TNT earlier. Talk to me about Liverpool in terms of just like a wrestling city, because so much great talent comes out of the city. Obviously, they've got TNT, which is really thriving. And it just seems like, well, even aside from wrestling, like Liverpool is a city where you know, Liverpudlians take such pride in being from there, and the city itself. Like, that must be really nice to be part of that community where wrestling is growing, but also where people have such pride in who they are.
I just think, like, I don't know, it sounds mad, but I think this is like literally the best place on earth to live. Like, if it was hot all the time, I would not leave Liverpool. I just think people are so nice here, like, and just like such like when you go actually into the city, like it's just such a cool place and that. But yeah, I just think you do notice with it, sort of everyone who's Scouse, everyone's like out proud about it. But I think people love it as well. Like people love that, especially with like now you see like Paddy the Baddie and stuff. Like even like Americans, they love it. Like if you ever go anywhere like on holiday and like like you speak to Americans, they're like, how do you know the Beatles? And I'm like, not personally, but yeah, I'm familiar. Do you know what I mean? Like people love it, so it's like, if all that sort of stuff's going on, then like I might as well just crack on still talking about it, because it might start to get really over after all this like stuff with the UFC and that, like the sort of trends happen and stuff. So but Scouse is the new in thing.
Yeah, that's the new trend. Yeah, we've got to get into just all of wrestling. Awesome. Well, Harley, we've got this other segment that we do on the show, sort of just in terms of like winding things down as like a final segment. It's called Anatomy of a Pro Wrestler, and this is a shoot. This is about you. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you let me know what comes to mind for each.
Okay.
So the first is my favourite pre-show meal.
Anything pasta and Pink Monster. That just gets me hyped, gets me buzzed.
What is the flavour? I don't do energy drinks, to be honest. So what is Pink Monster in terms of like what's the flavour of that?
I don't even know. It's just pink. It just tastes pink, basically. Yeah, but that gets me buzzed, gets me going. I think probably everyone's gonna say sort of Monster, an energy drink related, definitely.
Yeah, most people say energy drink. We've had a few people like pasta or like a meal deal or something like that. But generally, it's like...
got to be carbs.
Yeah.
Carbs for me.
Nice. Well, on the opposite end, the next one is my favourite post-pinfall pig out.
The Mackies.
It's the guilty pleasure of everyone, I think, isn't it?
It's because it's just so convenient on the way home, and like I've never known hunger, like being at a show all day, and like you always think you're bringing enough food with you, you don't. Like I need like snacks, do you know what I mean? Like things to like pick on. But I always don't bring enough. So then we're like on the way home, and I'm like, come on, because it's usually probably the only thing that's open at that time anyway, and it's just like so convenient.
Yeah.
I mean, probably shouldn't be pushing that and pushing the fitness in one sort of video. But,
no, you can. You can.
You've life balance, you know what I mean?
No, yeah, exactly. No, you can. You've wrestled that day. You deserve like a cheat meal. That's fine. What do you get? What's your Mackey's order?
I change it up. I don't have one set thing. I mix it up.
I think you're the only person that's ever said that. I don't know anyone who changes it up at Mackey's. Like.
Yeah, I mix it up. Keep them guessing.
Nice. Well, that's good. Yeah. Keep your body guessing as well. It doesn't know what it's going to expect. Could be a bit of chicken, a bit of beef. Who knows, right?
My body's always confused. Like, what's going on?
Brilliant. Well, this one's sort of like away from wrestling in terms of just my favourite food in general. Like, you know, there's no wrestling on. There's nothing on. You know, you've got the evening to yourself to do whatever. What do you go for?
I love anything Mexican.
Nice.
Yeah, I just think like, I don't know, just love it. I love like avocados and stuff. I don't know, but anything Mexican. I love like calamari as well, like squid. Yes. That's like a really weird thing to say.
No, calamari is great. I get that.
Love that. But like when you go anywhere and it's on the menu, I'm like, yes, we are getting starters.
Yeah, it's like the ideal starter, isn't it? Calamari when it's on there, like a little bit. It's not too heavy. You get a little dip with it. It's nice.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of salad with it. I
relate. Yeah, I get that. The next one is the song that gets me the most hyped.
My entrance music.
That's fine. You can say that. Yeah, it's good. It's good entrance music.
Because if it like comes on me like shuffle, because it's just indie playlists, like it's not nerves, but you know, obviously that moment where like your music hits and it's like, oh, I've got to go out now.
The like adrenaline, yeah.
But yeah, so my belly goes, oh, like other people's entrance music that like from a while ago, like when I first started wrestling, if I hear that to like someone who I've wrestled and I've been obviously like flapping it about the match, probably if I hear that, I'm like that, like it makes you nervous. It's so weird. But like I don't know whose music this is, but I know I've heard it before, and I don't know why I feel scared.
No, I get that. That's pretty. Yeah, for sure. And the next one is my favorite band of all time. Or it doesn't have to be a band. It can be like a solo artist or something. But like favorite musician of all time.
Oh God. Like the Foo Fighters. I love Fleetwood Mac. I'm one of them now. Like not to be like cringe, but like. I listen to like such random stuff, like I don't have like a set genre, do you know what I mean? Like I'm a bit everywhere. So I'm more songs than artists.
Sure.
But in terms of like liking all of someone's music, because I like certain songs, but I won't like other songs from people. But definitely Foo Fighters, Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, God, I can't even think now. It's terrible, though, isn't it? But yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Those are two good choices on their own, so that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
And the next one is the best gig I've ever been to.
This is funny. I've only ever been to like one concert ever, and it was Fall Out Boy, so I've got to say that.
Nice. When was that?
That was when was that? It was a while ago. Like, it will have been probably the last time, because I don't know if they've toured with the new album in the UK.
I don't think they have, no, because of lockdown. I don't think they did.
So it'll be probably the last tour or the one before that.
Right.
God, I don't even know when that was, to be honest with you.
The next one is the movie that I chose, The Locker Room.
Movie?
Yeah, like, you know, essentially it's your favourite movie. Essentially it's you're going into the locker room and being like, guys, we're watching this movie now because it's the best movie.
Titanic.
Really?
Yeah. I know what happens at the end, you know what I mean? I know where it's going. Yeah, that's my favourite film, is Titanic, definitely.
Is it? So what is it about it that's like, that sort of grabs you? Because I know it's a good film, I know it's a classic film, like everyone loves it, but like, I wouldn't put it in like a top 5 for me, but I appreciate that it's a good film.
Just the drama. Just a bit, what the hell's going on? I love Leonardo DiCaprio as well, so I'm not going to lie, you know. But the drama.
I mean, to be fair, it is that, yeah. Yeah, I get that. And it's also, I think it's also quite impressive where like, if you can make a film that like, draws people in, even though everyone knows exactly what's coming.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, I love that. Yeah, that'd be my film.
Fair play. No, a bold choice. The next one is my favourite way to relax.
God. Relax, I don't know. Usually I just like come home and go straight to sleep because I'm that tired. I like crystals. I'm into me crystals and things like that. So there's that, but that's just sort of life now. Like, sort of what I do. But God, relax. I don't even know.
You just not relax. That's it. You're just always on, like.
Just hyped all the time. No. God, I would say go in the gym, but that's just not even relaxing, is it? I just sort of do like my hobbies all the time, and like, but to me that's like a way of like, that's like self-care and relaxing, even though that's not right, that isn't it? I think
it's sort of right. It's sort of right. I mean, I think we might be learning that maybe you need a little chill time, like here and there.
Yeah.
But like again, like you say, like if it's your hobby and you love doing it, then there's no reason why it can't be relaxing to you, even if it's something like going to the gym that is like, you know, sort of like quite high intensity.
Yeah.
No,
definitely.
That's fair enough. No, you're not a sort of like sit on the couch sort of person.
Depends. I can be, but no, I just like to sort of keep moving, keep going.
That's fair enough. I respect that. The next one is my first job.
First job, I worked at Mackey's.
Nice, and that's why you love it so much.
Oh yeah, of course. In Bittlestrand, Mackey's. I don't know if you.
No, I couldn't tell you specific ones. I've been to Liverpool a couple of times, but not anything major.
It was just, oh my god, traumatized.
Go on. What do you have any like?
I'd be having murder every day. It's just like, but I was so good for that job, you know. I was brilliant.
What was your specialty? What were you best at?
Everything. I'd be doing everything in there. Honestly, mad. Like, I would be running around that place. The thing I weren't good at, so during like a bit, because I was still back there during COVID a little bit and then left. And they'd like put me on the door. Do you know, thinking with people, like, and I'm just like, I can't deal with this.
Yeah, that's like boring. But I imagine like behind the counter and stuff, it's like at least busy, like you're doing stuff.
I'd be getting heckled, like, and I'd be and I'd say like I'm quite easy to spot as well. And I'd be like, do you know you'd have to say get out? Like there's only so many people in because of COVID, whatever. And people would just walk past me, and I'd be like, hello, like I'm here, like. But no, when I left there, I was like, I can't even, like, to anyone who, like, says things about, like, people who work in, like, fast food places, that's it's such a hard job, like, to not, like, combust, like, so, yeah. I'm so glad I don't work there anymore, to be honest with you.
That's fair.
Hats off to anyone who still does or has a job like that, because it's really hard work.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I think there's like a stigma about it, isn't it? But like, again, that's a tough job, especially like if it's busy, like you're around with customers and stuff. Like to stay like composed and actually be doing the job well. Like, yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy.
And you just think, like, for jobs like that, like, why I couldn't do this, because, like, you're really just working to make somebody else richer. So you working hard, like, everyone's replaceable, so really you working hard means nothing. But, like, now, obviously, I'm, like, self-employed. If I work hard, I see results out of it, and I see, like, things for myself. Whereas, like, working something like that, you're just working to line someone else's pocket. So I was like, get me out of it.
No, and that must be really rewarding as well, going into that and being now self-employed and, like, you know, again, like you say, doing it for yourself.
Definitely.
Nice. Do you have any, like, crazy McDonald's stories from your time there? Like, anything really weird that happened, or?
Oh, to be honest with you, there'd be something different every day. Like, every single day. Honestly, like, there'd be something going on, someone kicking off, someone flipping about something. But it does also make you realise, I didn't know how, like, nuts people can be, like, just crazy, till I'd worked in that environment. I'd be like, I didn't even know there's people who walk around living their lives that mad over nothing. Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, what? Oh, God. It'd just be... But I'd have to keep me cool so much, but sometimes I'd just be like, I'm going to have to go clock out and just go and have a sit down. Because I'm one of them, like, I'm really chill until past a certain point, and I can get quite angry, do you know what I mean?
Sure, like you cross the line,
yeah. So chill. Yeah, but there's just a little line, and like the line will be crossed too many times a week for me. I'll be like, get me out of here.
Well, no, it's good to see that you're doing what you love now. That's really nice.
Yeah.
And the next one is my greatest fear.
I don't know if I'm, like, scared. I think I'm scared of not doing well.
Sure.
Not succeeding. Because I think that's where, like, if I ever am anxious or worried about something, it's like over, you know, not doing my best. But that's it. I mean, I don't like snakes either, but, like, I was trying to think of something good to say. But I don't really like snakes, and I don't like doing bad as well.
That's fair enough. We've had a couple of both of those. Yeah, snakes I understand. Like, and actually both I understand. Mine is spiders. I hate spiders. Can't do spiders. But
see, like, in ours, like, I don't get the spiders out, so it's fine. But I'm saying snakes because this one time, this was years ago. Like, someone's pet snake had escaped out of the, like, its pen or enclosure. I don't even know what it's called, cage. I don't know. And I was like, I opened the front door to leave, and there was literally a snake, like, halfway through our front door in the front garden. I'm not lying. I was literally screaming, but I didn't even know I was scared until that point. So it was literally, it sounds really convenient, but there's, like, a lizard shop by mine. So I, like, rang this lizard shop, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this snake. So the woman come round with a bloody bag. So I'd been literally screaming for half an hour. She come round and just picked up this snake with her bare hands and just put it in this bag. She's probably went on to sell it as well. So she's probably making profit off this poor snake. But I was like, oh my God, traumatised. But I couldn't believe it. She just, like, proper picked it up and was like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't
and I was literally traumatised.
People that do that, I'm like, what is up there? Like, that, like, it allows you to do that? Like,
it was mad. I was like, where does it escape? It was like, you know, Snakes on a Plane. Or Snakes on a Plane. I don't know what it's
Snakes
called.
on a Plane.
I love that film, but that's how I felt. That's literally how I felt.
No, I get that. Yeah, and that can be, like, a traumatising thing, like, to sort of, like, kickstart a fear, for sure.
So ever since then, I don't like snakes.
No, I get that. That's understandable. A couple of sort of, like, wrestling related ones now. The next one is my favourite wrestling match ever. It can be, like, one you've been in or one you've seen or whichever.
I'd say, like, I have matches that I, like, comfort watch. So if I want something to put on the telly and do something, I'll put on. So, like, Triple H and Undertaker from WrestleMania. I'll put them on.
Nice.
Or the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I'll put that on. In terms of matches that I've had, I think any time I've wrestled Tonga.
Yeah, Tonga's great.
Like the match I did a Future Shock. It was last year now. Like I'm not sure what month it was, but it was definitely last year. Especially because again, Future Shock is one that I'd seen and been like, oh my god! And then I've obviously started training with Future Shock. Post lockdown, so that was just a great moment. But to have that match there, I was just like, this is the best. This is great. And she's amazing. So I'd say, in terms of my matches, that's probably my favourite match I've had.
Yeah, no, it's a good shout. It's a great shout. And Tonga's great as well. Yeah, absolutely great performer as well, for sure. And the next one is the loudest pop I've ever heard. Let's say like in person.
I don't know if it's the loudest I've ever heard, but when Synergy won the LWF tag titles on Saturday, just gone, that was pretty loud. That was really loud, and I had to follow that. Like my match was after theirs. I was like, for God's sake, like everyone's gonna be tired now. But that was a pretty loud pop. But they're over wherever they go. Do you know what I mean? So that goes out. Wasn't anything else. I don't know if it's the loudest again, but I was popping for it when RPD and Summer Durson had that. I don't know if you heard about it, the boxing match at TNT. Oh my god, we were screaming. I was like, this is so good. I was like, obviously I didn't even know, when I got announced, I was like, I didn't know what to expect from it. Because obviously RPD is like, he's like a real boxer. He's not scary. Like, but it was mad. Like it was probably me who was popping the loudest. So I was like,
that's why it sounded so loud, the pop, because it was you making all the sound.
Yeah. But that was bad.
Awesome. Yeah. No, good choices. Only a couple more. The next one, final wrestling related one, is the obligatory, of course, my dream match.
Does it have to be someone who's still wrestling?
It doesn't have to be, no.
It can be anyone. This sounds so silly. Not silly. I'd love to like wrestle the Undertaker, but like at that sort of era when like the Shawn Michaels match happened, like WrestleMania 25. If I could have been 26, that would have been great. Like that era of Undertaker. In terms of women, Lita, I'd love to wrestle Lita. Charlotte as well. I'd love to wrestle Charlotte.
Yeah.
I think she's amazing. She's fabulous.
For sure.
Or Toni Storm.
Yes, Tony. Yeah, we love her in Brit Rest, don't we? That'd be great.
Definitely.
Nice.
So I've got a couple there. I'll give you a few. Just put us all in like a big gauntlet match.
Yeah. Oh, then
weird at all.
I mean, that would be the most bizarre gauntlet match I think anyone would have ever booked.
That would be money.
Can you imagine the money you'd have to spend? You'd have to spend money to get that gauntlet match, to get those names in one match.
Some more bucket.
And then tell like sort of WrestleMania 26 era Undertaker he's in a match with Charlotte Flair and Toni Storm.
We need to get a time machine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just hop from era to era, pick them up, bring them back.
Yeah, that was so random.
I love that. That's brilliant. That might be one of the best things I've ever heard on this podcast. Like that was brilliant. Couple more final ones. They're about travel. So the next one is my favourite place in the world.
Liverpool.
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd say that. As soon as I asked it, I had a feeling you'd say that.
Yeah, that's one. But just everything's here. It's great.
Yeah, no, we covered that. I mean, like, yeah, Liverpool's great. I've only been there a couple of times. I've only been there for football mainly because, if I'm a Brighton fan. If Brighton play Liverpool, I'll go up and watch, and then you spend the weekend in Liverpool because you're not going to do a one-way journey to Liverpool, right? And it is great. It's fantastic. Do love it there, but I've not really had the chance to properly explore the city yet.
But if it was hot all year round, like, imagine.
Yeah.
I just hate when it's cold.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, there are so many places UK-wise that, like, if the UK was a reliable country for weather, you'd be like, oh, this is great.
I know. It would be really cool.
Brilliant. Well, the final one then is my dream holiday destination.
Hawaii, I think.
Nice. You like the sunny holidays then?
I just love when it's hot, like the weather. Like this week, I've been like living my best life because it's warm, but Yeah, there. Or I'd love to go to Japan, but that's more wrestling related. That's not really holiday related.
No, but you can have a holiday in between, can't you? You can travel around doing all the wrestling and have some time off.
Yeah. I'm trying to. Just anywhere that'll last me.
Amazing. No, some brilliant choices there. Well, like, fantastic. Harley, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. It's been really great. I hope you've enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, of course. Brilliant.
Well, that's always great to hear. And yeah, no, thanks so much for coming on. Thanks so much for taking the time. We always end each show by giving our guest a little bit of promo time. So if it's at Wrestle Island coming up, or at TNT, or any other shows you're going to be on, why is Harley Hudson going to steal the show in 2022?
I'm just hitting different. I just think I've got something that nobody else has at the minute. Yeah, I just think I'm pretty cool. So, yeah, get down to any shows that you can that I'm at. Like, support me. Yeah.
Brilliant. Great. No, great. Fantastic. Harley, thanks so much again for coming on. Really do appreciate it. Really do.